Hi, FlossTube friends. It's Kara, the Granite State Stitcher, both here on YouTube and on Instagram. And welcome back. It's been a month today since my last video. And I'm sorry, it has been a crazy, hectic month. I went on a couple of retreats. I've been to Ohio twice, once for wedding reception planning for my daughter's reception there in October, just outside of Dayton, and of course, StitchCon this past weekend. So this video is mainly going to be about StitchCon. I am going to post my regular video and also a follow-up Patriotic Mania Mira May video to finish out that month, but I didn't want to put them all together because it would be a 3-hour long video. So this is strictly going to be about StitchCon 24 recap. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. Glad you stopped by. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back to another video. I appreciate you. So people, if you have not been to StitchCon, it's everything that you hear that it is. Really, it's phenomenal. It's truly phenomenal. I probably will forget to touch upon some things, and that's because you can't remember. I swear, you're trying to take it all in this 3.5 day period, and it's just so much. It's so much. I got there Thursday morning around 7 a.m. I drove from New Hampshire. I drove all night, got there, checked into my hotel, took a 3-hour nap. I figured I didn't have to, registration began at 10 o'clock. And I figured I don't have to be there right at 10. I had seen all the posts from weekend A and how people were lining up at 8 o'clock in the morning and the line was out in the parking lot. And I'm like, you know what? No, I don't need to stand in line in that heat at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll just go at 10:30. And, by that time, the major rush, should be over. So I sauntered over there at 10:30. I was staying at the Live-In, which is adjacent right to the convention center. And everybody was already in the room. I couldn't believe it. They must have that registration process down pat because everybody was already in the room, seated. I walked in and this year they put table flags on the table. So if there were any vacancies at that table, you just had to look for a flag that said, we have an opening or come join us, whatever the flag said. And that made it really great because you're not walking around the room, trying to find a seat, asking people, oh, is that seat taken? So that made it very easy. I found a table right away, close to the door. And I look over and my New Hampshire neighbor, Christopher from Cross Stitch, is sitting at the very next table on the left-hand side of me. And Floss Boston Cousins are sitting on the right-hand side of me. So it was a perfect table. And so I sat down. My table mates were all from Pittsburgh. Such a wonderful group of ladies. And Deanna, Diana, Carolyn, Beverly, and Althea. I had such a wonderful time spending the weekend with you. And it was great getting to know you. And hopefully I will make it down there sometime for the Steel Cities retreat. These all ladies know each other because, like I said, they're all from Pittsburgh, and they attend a stitching group called Stitching in the Berg. And I think they meet once a month, maybe. But wonderful, wonderful group of ladies, and I really enjoyed spending time with them this weekend. So, as you can imagine, entering a convention center that has over 300 people sitting there is a bit overwhelming and can be intimidating. I believe Stephanie told me that there were 320 people there for weekend B, and I walked around. I tried to, meet as many people as I could, but everybody is up and about, and it it's just impossible, just impossible to meet everyone. But um, everyone was very kind, very nice. A lot of fantastic stitching going on. And so our side of the room, that wall had like the water station and the smalls exchange table set up. And then as you went around the perimeter of the room, they had the photo booth, the keepsakes photo booth set up where you could get your picture taken. And then they had the free table, which I never should have sauntered over to. I came away with quite a few free patterns, but mostly they were small kits that I think I'll give to Allie, and she can start her stash. I'm sure her mother's going to appreciate that. Um, and then the other perimeters of the room, the other walls were the brag tables where everybody had such beautiful, beautiful stitching. Some of them had ribbons on them. They had entered them into fairs. So that was very enjoyable to look at and to see. Um, so that was that, again, just overwhelming, overwhelming. And you're in the convention center. The floor above had the concessions, the food concessions. So you could go up there, grab lunch if you needed coffee, whatever. And outside the big convention room was the registration area. They had the tables set up with the raffles, the raffle baskets. They had turned the coat room into the pickup room. If you wanted to order stuff from Keepsakes and have it brought over, you could pick it up there. And then they had the annex. And I'll go into the annex more when I discuss haul. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was all the kind gifts, people walking around. And if you've been to retreats, there are so many people that bring gifts for everybody. And thank you to anyone who stopped by my table and gave me a gift. I appreciate it so much. And, some of these are very ingenious, very crafty. Um, and I commend you. I really do. So when we walked in, this was on our tables. Each one of us got, it's an Ort jar with the state of Ohio on the lid. And I used this the whole time I was there to put my threads in. So that was a nice little keepsake that we came away with. Oh, keepsake, get it? So my table mates, Carolyn, who is a fantastic embroideress, made us all these bags. And she embroidered all this on the front. She embroidered these fobs. I got one, and then I'm going to get this one to Allie because she likes purple. And Carolyn is so funny. Her husband gave her some items to hand out to people. Now she had gotten this. This is great. He gave her this. This is a magnet on the end of it, so you can use it if you drop your needle. Um, and I've wanted to get one of these. So thank you, Bob. That's Carolyn's husband. Thank you for thinking of this. This is perfect. And he also sent screwdrivers. I guess he used to work for Honeywell. I'm not advertising for Honeywell, but I guess that's where he used to work. And she had a bunch of screwdrivers that she was handing out to people, and they loved it. Perfect thing to put into your little stitching caddy because when you need to change out the batteries on your lights, you have this screwdriver to use. So perfect gifts from Carolyn. And then Bev gave us all these round little frames. How cute is that? Perfect. I know exactly what I'm going to put in this. And her granddaughter, who I believe she said is 6, made us all these little cards. Her name is Cora, and she likes to sew, and she likes to draw, and she made all these little cards by hand. So that was so sweet of Cora to do that. And then Althea, who was at our table, does beading. And she made these beaded zipper pulls. Aren't those beautiful? I mean, there's a lot of beading work in that. And I got one for Allie. She gave me one for Allie. But look at those. Gorgeous. So those were our table gifts. And then, like I said, people just walking around, handing stuff out. I think I'll just leave that there. And someone brought by a survival kit, which of course has all the yummy goodies in it. So thank you for that. There's no name on the bag. Amanda, who is one of Jen's friends from Two Tall Stitches. Amanda came around. Amanda is on Instagram, and she is Cavapoo, Cavapoo cross stitch. And I am guessing that is because of her little doggies right there. And in this little tin were little scissors, a matching colored threader, and a needle. And there's a magnet in the tin, which keeps everything right there. So that was so cute. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate that. And then we had people who were passing out charms. And this charm is a little heart with little floss cards. And this is by Little Big Stitcher on Instagram. So there's a little heart charm in there with kitty cat floss card. And then this is a scissors charm by Jamie Richardson. Her FlossTube channel is Stitching and Wishing. I will have all the channels listed below of the people that I met. So isn't that cute? Love those little stitches. I mean, those little scissors. So how adorable is that? And then we had people handing out various other items, a lot of zipper pulls, and some of these are so adorable. This is by Jan Stiff, and her FlossTube channel is Jan Stiff Stitches. And again, another little needle threader. I love this card. It's a very pretty card. And this was from Holly Hogue. She came with the Floss Boston cousins, Christy and Callie, and she's their friend, and she brought these adorable, where's my other one? Zipper pulls. There is her card, her label on Instagram, and this is the one that I got. And then she gave me one for Allie, a little ice cream cone on that. Isn't that cute? Now, speaking of people that were there was a 10-year-old girl sitting at the table next to me, and her name was Allie, short for Alyssa, and she did the smalls exchange. She was stitching away. She came over and was talking to us, and she's a dancer. So she was able to attend StitchCon because her dancing troupe had finished their performances for June, and she has a break until July. So it worked into her schedule. You know, she came with her mom. And how fantastic, how wonderful to see someone that young, you know, getting into the craft of cross stitch. So kudos to you, Alyssa. And then we had the Pink Stitchers. That's their YouTube channel. Another zipper pull. I love their little wine bottle opener there. And then this is from Peppermint Cottage. That is her Instagram handle. This is from Patty. And another, but look at that. Look at the little peppermint candy on there. Isn't that cute? So again, she is peppermint_cottage on Instagram. And then I don't know who brought this by. This was left on the table when I wasn't there. Beautiful. Little butterfly and 24 and a butterfly charm. So whoever, if you see this video, I thank you so much. This is beautiful. And this is Cross Country Cross Stitch. This is Neil and Alex. They are cousins and they have a FlossTube channel called Cross Country Cross Stitch. And they brought by a fidget zipper pull. And then this was the Make It and Take It that we were given when we were leaving. And it is a lobster claw with a ring, 2024, a flower, and a little shovel as a zipper pull. Isn't that cute? And then we got this one from GW Stitching Depot. That's her Instagram handle. And this is a floss ring with a little bobbin on it. That's her card. And then Floss Boss and Cousins came by and they handed out little bags. Don't be a heifer. And these are actually project cards, which these are, I mean, these are really nice. These are really nice. And they have matching thread bobbins and a bobbin needle minder. It says Floss Boss and Cousins. So thank you so much, ladies. Thank you very much. And then we had other goodies that were handed out or either left on our table. This is Stitchwork Design Company, and Greta came by and left us some stickers and little candy in there. Thank you, Greta. This is from My Sister's Samplers. They're on Instagram at My Sister's Samplers. There's a little card. And I will talk about them more in haul. They were sitting at the same table next to me with the Floss Boss and Cousins. And look at these little cards, floss cards. This is a motif from one of their samplers. And that's what it looks like on the back. They had they're designers and they had some beautiful patterns there. And then we just had a bunch of floss cards. Dropped off. I love this idea, taking an old deck of cards. I mean, and this is, you know, heavy duty because they're playing cards. What a fantastic idea. This one came with, let's see, Stitching in My Pajamas. I believe that's her floss tube. Look at that. Gloriana's with the thread cards. Very nice. And this is Stitch, Read, and Repeat. And some Scottish lost from Stitching Scotty on Instagram and FlossTube. Whoops, I'm sorry, that wasn't even in the picture, in the frame. And then a little kitty cat. Stitching Spencer. So what a wonderful, wonderful bunch of gifts to come away with. Everybody, thank you so much. You're so generous. Our community is so generous, and I appreciate all of you. So next, on Friday, was it Friday or Saturday? I think it was Friday. We took a trip out to Keepsakes. We took the bus. We took the Stitchy bus. Went to Keepsakes. Oh my gosh. You could spend the whole day in there and still not see everything. Every wall from floor to ceiling has finished stitching on it. There is one, I mean, some of these were magnificent. When you walk around the corner into the room that I believe that they use as their gathering room, like for First Friday stitching, on directly ahead of you on the wall is this ginormous, it has to be 3 or 4 feet big, of George Washington. I think it's a Twin Peaks. I wanted to take a picture of it and I forgot, but beautiful. And if it's not on the wall, then it's propped up on a windowsill or on a counter or an old piece of luggage. They have tables that have benches underneath them. Just finished stitchy works and patterns everywhere, and floss and buttons and anything that you can think of that has to do with cross stitching is there. Scissors, trim, fabric, of course, fabric. So just unbelievable, unbelievable. I did get a couple things there that I'll show you in haul. And coming back to the convention center, they had an annex there. And I believe somebody told me there were 37 trunk shows. Beautiful, beautiful. And I know that we say it all the time, but it is the absolute truth. Just a picture of a pattern does not do it justice at all. When you see these fully finished patterns, all stitched and framed, or, as a pillow, or however they finished it, it is amazing. It is amazing. And it just makes you want to keep stitching all things like I always do. So I guess we'll go into haul then. So first thing with haul is I got this, it's called a project roll. And what you do is with your finished projects, because you're never supposed to fold your fabric because fabric has memory. And instead you can roll them, take all your finished stitch works and roll them in this, and it will keep them flat and keep them smooth. So this was actually made by one of the ladies at my table, Althea, and she had them in all different colors, patterns. Beautiful, beautiful work, beautiful work. So I got one of those. And then I got, so I mentioned I got this pattern. I had seen this pattern at the library stitches retreat back in April, and I didn't get it, but they had it there. The Artsy Housewife had a trunk show there, and this time I did not pass it up. I have a piece of red fabric. I think it's called Aztec that I'm going to stitch this on, and I'm sure that it will pop. It will look fantastic. So I got that. And then I mentioned that my sister's samplers, they were, those two ladies were sitting right next to me. They had their patterns there. And what they do is they take old samplers and they make reproduction samplers. And again, their models were absolutely beautiful. And I got this one, and it's stitched with the Glorianas. It came with a thread pack. And I can't wait to start this. So this is what I got in the annex. And then over at Keepsake, I got this little pack of buttons from Puttini Winter. I don't know why, but I thought that snowman was a penguin. I didn't have my glasses on when I was there, obviously. So I got those little buttons. And then I got the StitchCon 2022 pattern. And I'll just put, maybe I'll just put 2024 at the top of that, since that's the year that I went. And we did get a StitchCon 2024 pattern in our bag. When we first arrived at registration, we had this beautiful, it's a big bag, zippers, compartments. That was our little stitchy gift. It says StitchCon on the outside. Beautiful bag, beautiful bag. And that did have the StitchCon 2024 pattern in it. So maybe I just will leave this as 2022. But then, of course, I got Twin Peaks, and they had the model of this there, and absolutely stunning, stunning. And I had to find the pattern and buy it, of course. I love Twin Peaks anyway, but again, the picture of the pattern does not do it justice, does not do it justice. So that's all I got for haul. I was pretty good. I was pretty good. Did not spend a whole lot of money. So I also wanted to mention that after the room closed, the convention center room closed at 10 every night. And then they had a late night stitching room that was open over in the hotel around the back side of the lobby. So I went there, and I'll tell you something, for that late at night, I was there till 2, 3 o'clock every night. It was pretty rowdy. There was well, maybe not Saturday night. I think Saturday night we were all getting kind of tired, but definitely Thursday and Friday. And, it was great being there, meeting some other, because it was a smaller group, obviously. So you're not with 300 people, you're maybe with 50. And I was at a table stitching with Jen from Two Tall Stitchers. Nicole, the Buckeye Stitcher. Let's see, who else? Oh, Neil and Alex from Cross Country Cross Stitch. Brenda, the Handwork Maniac. Okay, let me tell you about Brenda. I watch her FlossTube and I love her work. But when you see it in person, oh my gosh, her back looks just as elegant as the front. I was blown away by her work. And she's a fast stitcher too. She was sitting there and it's beautiful. It's perfect, perfect in every way. So, Brenda, I bow down to you. So we had such a lovely group of ladies in the after hours stitch room. Jen and Brenda, Jen's friend Amanda, Kim. Kim was a riot, so full of energy. Connie, Amy from Amy Loves Toads stopped by real quick one night, and Sandy. And then the last night we were there, Bev and Carolyn from my table out in the regular convention center came in for a little late night stitching too. So we had fun. Of course, Pam and Steph just keep stitching. They were roaming around all over the place. There was one night after the late night stitching room closed, that I actually hung out in the lobby with Pam and Steph and Alex and Neil and Christopher. And I think that's it. And we just had a grand old time just talking. As it turns out, Pam and I are from the same hometown. We grew up in the same town back in Maine, South Portland, Maine, and we know many of the same people. That was mind blowing. It was. It was so funny. So we had a good time talking, reminiscing about Maine. Um, Jamie stitching and wishing. And I think that's the only people that had floss tubes that were in the late night room. But that was so much fun. That was so much, just hanging out, again, getting to know people, getting to see what other people are stitching. There were quite a few people there that were stitching Lady of the Flag. And both of those people had chosen to stitch it in the blue conversion, which I absolutely loved seeing because I am stitching mine in the yellow. So, but absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So the last day on Saturday, of course, so sad, so sad. But Saturday night was the raffle drawings and door prizes. Door prizes had been pulled Friday night and then Saturday night. And I won a door prize, which very much surprised me. And I won a beautiful, beautiful scarf and it's from Classic Colorworks, and it's hand dyed, and it's one of those infinity scarves. Beautiful, beautiful color. Can't wait to wear that. I won a LED lighted magnifier with a folding stand. Whoops, perfect. And also there was a bag of limited edition mystery thread pack by the Gentle Arts. And these colors are absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, look at that blue, and that blue with the red tone in it. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So that was a nice little mystery thread pack. And then another bag. Oh my gosh, who does not need bags? I love bags. You can call me the bag lady. I love bags. So I got this beautiful bag. Handles, zipper, nice and roomy inside. How wonderful is that? And I did not realize that the Gentle Arts were located in Ohio. So who knew? So that was my nice little door prize that I won. And then they did the basket raffles and so many nice baskets. Um, Definitely a lot of thought went into the preparation of those. And then came the auction items. So I won, I bid on and won a 1 yard piece of fabric, color suede by Needle Bling Designs. And it is absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous. So I can't wait to find the perfect project to use this for. And the other auction item I won was a shepherd's bush. They had two finished patterns, a mirabilia and a shepherd's bush, that had been donated for the auction. The mirabilia piece was, I believe it's called Mermaid of the Seas. It's the one where she's holding the big chandelier, or maybe it's Mermaid of the Ships. I'll have to look that up. I'll put it down below. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And the other one was Shepherd's Bush, and I think it's called Gathering Flowers. But what drew me to that was the framework. Beautiful, beautiful. And so I won the auction for that. And I'm sure that the frame alone and the framework, the cutouts on the mat, Barbara said that she did those all herself, is worth what I paid for at the auction. And the auction was to benefit, well, actually, all the donations this week, the raffles, the auction, um, t-shirt sales, everything was to donate um, this one company that collects furniture, gently used furniture, to be used to give to people in need. Maybe they're homeless, maybe they are fleeing an abusive situation. Whatever the case, this organization helps to gather furniture and, um, you know, furnish an apartment or a living situation for, people in need. So I'm sure that Keepsakes will go more into depth about that, but it was just such a wonderful, auction with people pledging to buy a bed or pledging to buy the bundles, which were the sheets, a pillow, and a pillowcase, I believe, and maybe a blanket. I can't remember. Um, but when, and you hear it all the time, but when people say that this community is so generous and giving, it's heartfelt. It is said truthfully. Um, and it's meaningful and heartfelt, and it's absolutely that way. It really is. So it was sad to pack up and to leave. I stayed almost right till the end on Sunday. Left around 2:30. The room closed at 3. Said my final goodbyes. Got my pictures with Pam and Steph. Um, and we're going to keep in touch, and started out on my journey back to New Hampshire. I swear, the worst feeling about coming back from a trip is unpacking, because that's when it really sinks in that the vacation is over or the trip is over. And I always hate to unpack the car. I really do. But anyway, so that is my StitchCon recap. Hopefully, I did not forget to cover anything or mention anyone. And if I did, please accept my apologies. It was not intentional. And I will, you've seen some pictures throughout. I will Hopefully I remembered to post all the pictures that I had, and be on the lookout for my regular FlossTube video, which will be coming up this week, and also the Mira May and Patriotic Mania recap for the month of May. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Happy stitching. See ya.